What is good, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new edition of El Boogie and the Bell. I am the Bell, of course, here with El Boogie. El Boogie, how are we doing today?
Hey man, week 2 of the NFL season. It's been a crazy one. Been paying attention all week. We got a ton of injuries this week, especially Tua. Hope he's okay. But it's been a crazy football week, and I'm excited to get into it.
We got a ton of everything, and this is probably one of the episodes where you guys will see me in 12 different positions. My sciatica is starting to kick in, so if you see me move around, it's just because I'm excited and I'm in pain. But anyways, moving on to the actual show that we got going on here. El Boogie and the Bell. Actually, let's do El Boogie. El Boogie's head coach takes. El Boogie, where are we going and who we taking over?
All right, this week I'm going to try, emphasis on try, to step into the shoes of the head coach for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Now, the Carolina Panthers are off to a very, very bad start to the season. 0-2. They lost to the Chargers today, 26-3, I believe. And they got blown out by the Saints last week. I think it was 47-10. So not looking too good through the first 2 weeks. Last year they went 2-15. They brought in a new head coach. They invested heavily in their offensive line, but it looks like the same story. So at this point, what do the Panthers do to turn the ship around? I think the important thing to do here is to fix Bryce Young. Find a way to make Bryce Young successful. Not great, but successful. Get the turnovers down. Get some production out of him because you guys are locked into him. All the capital you traded away to get him and draft him number 1 overall, you have to make Bryce Young work. So the first thing I'm doing is I might, honestly, after like a week or two, I might fire the offensive coordinator because whoever's calling the plays and the schemes on offense is not doing it. I think they're trying to go through too many deep balls. Bryce Young seems lost in the progression sometimes. He takes too long in the pocket trying to figure out where to go with the ball. I think you maybe get rid of the offensive coordinator, but you simplify the offense. A lot of zone reads, a lot of quick slants, a lot of just dumping the ball to the running backs if need be. Something to get some production, something to keep the drives alive. So really, yeah, simplifying that offense. And I also, like, at this point in the season, I think you already start looking at trade candidates. You start looking at trade candidates to go get another talented receiver to go help Bryce Young because they don't really have a good wide receiver 1. If Adam Thielen is your wide receiver 1 or Deontay Johnson, who isn't doing much, Bryce Young doesn't really have anywhere to go with the ball. So maybe go and look at a team, not now, but in a couple weeks, a team that's kind of struggling, and see if you can get a wide receiver 1 or another wide receiver 2 just to give him another target. Unfortunately, you can't really get a new offensive line, at least not a really good one at this point. But yeah, simplify the offense, new wide receiver, and hope that Bryce Young works.
All right, Coach. We could talk about this for an hour, Coach. You guys aren't even having spotlight attention. The only thing I know about you guys to even comment about you guys is that you guys suck. So, with that being said, assuming you know, Coach, what did you guys do in last year's draft? If you know the first 3 rounds.
Last year's draft, I think they got Bryce Young. I think they went offense. I think,
or this year's draft, I guess. Not Bryce year's, but
let me see. I know they didn't have a first round pick. Obviously, they traded that away to Chicago. So they went defense. They went very heavy on defense this year. They got a tight end, a corner, a D tackle, linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even responding to that.
Xavier Legette, who was also a wide receiver. I forgot about him. They did get a wide receiver in the first round. Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. There was a hype out of him that he could be kind of similar to Bijan Robinson, but not quite Bijan Robinson. So they got a good spread, but no offensive line. I did notice that.
And based off of what you said, this Chuba Herbert, I'm assuming that he's a running back. Oh no, he rushed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
For the passing game, it's horrible. I mean, you got 84 yards at one interception, 84 yards, 18 to 26. It's like that's three and out, three and out, three and out, three and out. That's what it looks like. It sounds like. I haven't watched the game, and I actually don't plan on watching the game. I don't know if they're on the Broncos schedule. I might go the whole year without watching a game. I doubt that they have a primetime game, maybe a Thursday. Um, it looks horrible. I think, coach, the number one thing that they should do is maybe slow the pace down. You're saying dump it off to your running back. I mean, dump to your running back, shorten the offense, become game managers. They might be trying to do that, but if you're saying focus on 2 first downs instead of three and outs, I mean, it's a great start. And I think it would start with the firing of a offensive coordinator, because whatever system you have in place now, people are preparing for how bad they're about to beat you at your own game, whatever you guys think you're having, because there's absolutely no success. Whether it's the right side of the line's not blocking, left side of the line's not blocking. Whenever he rushes out this way, he makes worse mistake. I don't know. It looks bad, and it looks no different than last year, even though they've had a full off season to think about this. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars spent on staff. You're talking about millions of dollars spent on players to come back no different than the year before. Um, Blowing up a lot of stuff would help. If they're locked into this head coach, they need to lock into a totally different offensive scheme. And they don't have the luxury that a Steelers and Broncos have this year, where it's like, well, at least we could rely on our team to hold a team under 15 points. These are blowouts. 26-3
and
is still a blowout. Like there was no chance of you coming out. We're talking about 20-0
yeah,
at half. Like, wow. So I don't know, coach. You know better than me.
it's bad. And defense. I mean, the defensive side, that's a whole nother mess. But I think if you get more offensive production, that takes pressure off of your defense. At least, putting them in better field positions, not turning the ball over. That's a big thing. Um, yeah, Bryce Young he looks under pressure, like literally and like mentally. Like he looks like he's under pressure, like he's thinking too hard out there. Um, he spends a lot of time trying to figure out where to go, and then he spends too much time thinking and makes a bad decision, makes a couple bad throws. I think it just needs to be a lot simpler for him.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's your L Boogie take. A little bit of a sad one. And let's use that to go into our first ever Pardon the Interruption. We might add this as a segment, but Pardon the Interruption. As we were going through our list, I did notice something, and I just did not want to go through this week's show without speaking upon it. This was actually requested by Camo, one of our guests who will be here every single first week of every single month. L Boogie. Unfortunately, we have a situation going on in Miami. The situation is Tua Tagovailoa. How do we feel about his fourth time going to sleep on the field? Third time going to sleep on the field. I remember the one where he kind of just passed out a little bit. He lost his legs. I remember growing up and it was like a 3 rule. I thought it was a 3 rule. If you get 3 concussions in the NFL, you're done, or something of that nature. If you get 3 in college, you're done, and then you could go to the next level, but you're done. What's up? What do you think? What regardless of that stuff, how do you feel about Tua continuing his career, hanging it up, and what he did to avoid this and what he didn't do to avoid the play that this happened? I just threw a lot at you.
Yeah, I mean it's a bad situation for Tua. I mean, 4 major concussions in less than 2 years, and all of them on like prime time games where the whole country like watches it happen. It's bad. It looks really bad. It's obviously bad for his health. Um, I mean, on the play in particular, I mean, the play he's going for a first down. He's really trying to go for it, and he like goes like almost head first into Damar Hamlin, which is just like crazy that those are the two players that it happened between. Um, but yeah, he just goes in like at a bad angle. Like like Damar Hamlin doesn't even hit him hard. if anything, Tua like hit him hard. You know, you see his neck get all, get kind of bent, and then you see him hit his head on the ground. Like
Going for extra
it,
yards, yeah.
yeah, like it wasn't, especially for a player who has the history. It wasn't a good business decision. Um, and I mean, as far as continuing playing, I mean, it's a risk, dude. It's like, it's a question for Tua. Like, what are you playing for? Are you playing because you want to be a great NFL player and you want to make something of your career, or are you playing the game because you want to take care of your family? Because if it's you want to take care of your family, you already did it. You signed a contract where if you stopped playing today, you get $90+ million. I think some of the guarantees get voided, but like $90 million is coming to you regardless. You decide to retire today. So if your objective is just to take care of your family, you kind of did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's like a pride thing, I mean, it's a risk, dude. Because what happens? Like this time, he was able to get up, walk off the field. He had his capacities. What if next time that's not the case? What
Well,
if
I
next
mean,
time it's worse?
let's not forget the stiffness. It's stiff. Like it's one thing when you're put to sleep. I am a very avid MMA fan, huge UFC fan. These guys get put to sleep. These guys get put out. I mean, you got people who've been knocked out 3 or 4 or 5 times in their career, and they will get back in that cage and fight again. The issue is you're getting slammed by 300-pound linemen. You know what I mean? You're cranking your neck. You don't go into a football game saying, I could go to sleep. At least fighters know. You know what I mean? Like, at least fighters aren't trying to hit each other head to head combat compared to fist technique and the ready and preparedness to fight. He's going to sleep as if he's an MMA fighter, as if he's, somebody, a journeyman who, it's possible he could get knocked out. I think for the family business sake and everything like that, we could speak from a place of privilege because we don't make those numbers. So we look at those numbers like, wow, bro, I don't even know why you would dare take another snap. But also, the value of life at 26. I'm 26, you're 26, Tua Tagovailoa is 26. We do have the rest of our lives ahead of us. You know what I mean? I'm suffering from things that I've went through sports for the past 10 years. I've made $0. Tua has made millions of dollars. And I think we speak from a place of privilege because we don't even know what it feels like to have those contracts, to live your dream and everything like that. And we do for our lives and our situations. But imagine if somebody told you, Boogie, like wherever you work, you can't do it no more because of health issues. And you're like, this is what I worked my life to do. I knew I wasn't going to the NFL. I knew I was going to go to college, get this job, and blank. Same thing with me. It's like if you just cut my whole life supply off, it's like, wait, this is who I am. So, and there is so much more. You got quarterbacks who are playing till 40. You have average quarterbacks who are playing till at least 33. So I don't know. It's a tough one. So I just had to interrupt the show for this one, just because it is just such a it is just it's a heck of a thing. That's what I will say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At this point, all I can say is hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he makes the decision that is best for him and his family, and it's tough. I'm sure it's a like you mentioned, it's kind of like a loss of identity kind of thing. But the thing is, it's a job, and if you lose your job or you get laid off or you get fired or you have to quit, there's gonna be another job.
For
We've
sure.
seen all types of professional athletes go to get second careers and a lot of different things. So it's not the end of life; it's just the end of a chapter. That's how I see it.
Yes. All right. All right. And we'll wrap this up in about a minute. So there are 4 concussions. So obviously they're allowing 4 concussions, as bad as Tua's current. When do you think? So let's assume that the NFL is currently allowing 4+. When do you think the NFL should cut off someone's supply? Do you think it should be based on base scenario, or do you think it should be a number? And let's take it out of the organization's hands, because I'm sure he could go play for somebody else if they decide to cut him to like save him from himself. So let's say the NFL. Do you think it should be 5? Do you think it should be player by player? I personally think player by player. It's not good for
I
business.
I agree. It's a case by case basis. I think you have to look at what the medical professionals say. Like if he gets this diagnosis or something, and like a doctor says, "Hey, he can keep playing, but if he gets one more, it's kind of a wrap for him." Then like the league would be like, "All right, yeah, no, we're not going to let you do that." But
Yeah.
if they're just like, "All right, the risk is kind of low or whatever," like then it's a case by case thing, because some people have like one really bad concussion and it's really it's kind of it. But I mean, we've seen him have like three. So
Yeah. And last note, I need everybody to remember the only time we should ever go to sleep is when we lay in bed, close our eyes, sing a lullaby, and slowly drift off. So everybody needs to take into consideration how big your neural health is. Anyways, moving right on. Let's brighten up. Let's brighten up, L Boogie. It's week 2 of the NFL, man. We're gonna go right into L Boogie and the Bells trivias. I'm gonna get us started. And I actually have a really cool one because I'm really proud of somebody who became. So, L Boogie, your trivia this week. Can you name 3, because it's really hard, of the NFL head coaches who played in the NFL? 3 out of the 8. I just need 3. There are 8
three NFL coaches that played in the NFL.
Yes. They were on active
Okay.
NFL rosters.
Okay, that shouldn't be that bad. Okay, so number one, D'Amico Ryans,
Awesome.
Houston.
What
He
position?
played. He was a linebacker, right?
He was a linebacker for Houston, Texas, and Philadelphia Eagles. 1.
Yes. Him. Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson played, didn't he?
Um, who's the coach for? Oh, I'm tripping.
For Jacksonville. I'm pretty sure Doug
I'm
Peterson
literally
was in
looking
the.
at him. Yes, Doug Peterson was a quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles, and Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and then
Got one more.
another.
The one that I really want you to name the person that this list is based off of.
The person that this list is based off of. Oh, Gerard Mayo. I know Gerard Mayo. He's another one.
That's a good one. Position.
He was a linebacker too. Yeah, he was a linebacker.
He was. But what about the Raiders?
Oh, Antonio Pierce. Yeah, he was.
I like Antonio Pierce so much because it's like going back to the end of last season, they really like had faith in their coach, and you could tell their coach related to the players, and then they were able to rally those wins and stuff like that. And now we're talking about a 1-1 team who just beat the AFC championship conference champion, a really good AFC team because they lost the championship. I think I think Antonio Pierce is dope. I think he really connects with from a player standpoint. I think they look at him as a leader. He is who this list was actually based off of. So I'm like, it's pretty dope to see coaches and stuff, especially black coaches. Black players end up going on to be coaches, and not even that, just becoming head coaches. So I thought that was pretty dope. All right, that was
That's
me.
a cool one. That is a cool one.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Hey, Bill. As you know, we're both avid fantasy football players. Every week, how your fantasy team does kind of determines your mood. Last week, obviously, was week 1 of NFL fantasy. So, hey, Bill, can you tell me the 5 QBs who had the most fantasy points last week?
Didn't Josh Allen just go absolutely nuts in the fourth quarter? Was he like number 1 or 2?
Josh Allen was number 1. He had 31.2 points.
CJ Stroud did really good for me. I don't know if he's up there. He might be like 6 or 7, but let's go top 5.
He is not in the top 5.
Who balled out points? Let's do Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. That was a good game. A lot of points.
Lamar Jackson, yes, he's number 5. Patrick
Okay.
Mahomes, no.
Wow. Games that I missed. Let me get one of the quarterbacks out of that Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford game. I heard that was a good game.
Neither one of them.
I'm trying to think who was scoring.
See, we got two young guys.
Okay.
2 young guys and one experienced veteran.
One experienced veteran.
Well, like I'll say mid, not super old, but he's been around for a couple years.
I'm not cheating, but I'm looking at the games from last. Oh, let's go the Eagles.
Nope, not Jalen Hurts.
Wow, 34 points. Oh my God, let's go Derek Carr.
Not Derek Carr either.
They scored 47 on the Panthers.
He didn't have 47 points though.
You're killing me now. You said C.J. Stroud was Cardinal.
Two young black quarterbacks. You were kind of close with C.J. Stroud.
Cardinals?
No.
Yeah, now I'm just
think same game as C.J. Stroud.
They play the Colts. Okay. Who? I don't even know who the Colts starting quarterback is.
Anthony Richardson.
Oh yeah.
Second-year player.
You said
one surprise. One black guy, and the other one is a fun one. He,
like he's vet like Dak.
Not Dak. NFC South, proving a lot of people wrong.
So not Purdy. Proving people wrong would be NFC South.
Come on, you're getting there.
I'm getting there, player. I'm gonna have to cut a lot of this out. This is bad.
Was in the playoffs last year.
Let me get Baker B.
Baker Mayfield, man. He went off last week. He had 29 points.
Looking at 2-0 right now.
Literally. And the last one's a rookie, man. Rookie quarterback. Heisman winner.
I thought he had a rougher game. Caleb Williams?
Not the other one.
Oh, okay, so not a first-year player. I was just a rookie quarterback.
No, he is a rookie.
He won the Heisman.
Caleb wasn't the only. Caleb won it 2 years ago. Who won it last year?
Damn, I forgot his name. What is his name?
Jaden Daniels, yeah, QB for the Commanders.
Okay, yeah, I did terrible. I thought the Commanders had a rough game last year. Last week.
They didn't have a good game, but he did. I mean, he ran in a touchdown. He, had some good yards. So it was enough for 20. It was enough for 28 fantasy points.
All right, cool, man. All right, well, absolutely horrible for a guy who won, and I think I'm gonna win my second week in a row. Alrighty. That was our trivia. Let me get that itinerary back. Yeah, that one has me in a fog. I did pretty horrible. Okay, Boogie. Of course, it is time for our topics of the day. It is week 2 in the NFL. Boogie, let's give the young guys some credit, since obviously I don't even know who the young guys are. Who are your highlight rookie starting quarterbacks? Let's focus on the starters. I don't know if anybody got any trash minutes. What are your highlights? What are your downs too? Let's talk about some downs, because I got some downs too. What are you thinking of these rookie quarterbacks this week? We got Sunday Night Football, guys. Go ahead.
So for downs, I think Bo Nix. I mean, Bo Nix is at times he's shown some good decision making, but some of the throws have been wild. 2 turnovers last week, 1 turnover this week, 1 turnover in the end zone this week, which was tough. So yeah, Bo Nix hasn't looked great. I think last week Caleb Williams just looked a little shell shocked, a little under pressure. I mean, first game, and I'm not giving them too much heat for that.
It's first Sunday Night Football tonight.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how he performs today. But I don't know. So far, I've liked Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels has looked not like fantastic, but he's shown some composure. He's shown, like a good decision making, and the athleticism. The athleticism is there too. So he looks good to me. He's been my favorite so far for the rookies.
And for me, as far as this segment, I'm just gonna go based off of what I want to see out of Caleb Williams tonight. I want to see how I want to see him have a good first Sunday Night Football. I can't imagine what that experience is as a starting quarterback, especially when your city has so much hype for you and you're away. So not only are you facing pressure, you're probably facing the opposite side of the money line, and you are brand new to this league. So week 2 Sunday Night Football, I think that's pretty huge for him. I'm expecting 2 touchdowns 1 interception's a good game. Hopefully 200 to 223. That's a little bit on the high side, but anywhere from 180 to 220 is just awesome to me. Hopefully they could keep the game close. He's going against a guy who had perfect rookie year. You know what I mean? Perfect rookie year. Similar talent. I mean, if you look at Chicago's talent and you look at what CJ Stroud ended up making out of his talent last year, I would say they're in very close boats. So I'm just hoping that the game stays close. I do got the Texans winning, but I just want him to show up and show out on one of his first Sunday night football. The Broncos. Bo Nix looks very. The offense. I have more of a problem with the current offense that they're running compared to what actually happens. I just feel like they're not together. It's not well put together. I don't think sometimes it feels like on their 3 and outs, it wasn't the goal to get a first down. It was kind of just like filling it out, which makes no sense at all, right? So it's like you run ends up being second and 11. You run again, ends up being 3rd and 9. And then you're putting this pressure on this guy, but you're not letting him throw downfield, or he's not confident enough in throwing downfield. That was the case too many times today, where it's like he's not confident in throwing down the field. I'm ready for the Denver Broncos to invest into somebody who lets the ball fly. Earlier I text you, I said a Josh Allen, a Jared Goff, just somebody who's like, hey, it's gonna get picked off, but we're gonna get this football down the field. I'm gonna let it fly. I don't like how little passes are thrown between 15 and 30 yards. Between 10 and 30 yards. Most of these passes are coming from the backfield, and they don't have a scheme like that. I feel like every team that they play so far in these first 2 weeks has just read the scheme completely. So I'm like, it's just very, very tough. And as far as other quarterbacks, I haven't paid attention to too many. I am gonna check out. Oh boy, who did you just say he played for? Was it
Who, Anthony Richardson?
Yes, I'm gonna check him, and then Zach May is starting, correct?
No, he's not. It's Jacoby Brissett in New England.
Damn,
So Drake May is on the bench.
I did want to see him in a couple games. That's what I got out of my rookie quarterbacks. Those are the 2 I'm paying attention to. Those are the 2 I've seen this week. So I'm only gonna speak on them. I'm gonna pay more attention to a couple next week.
That's good. Yeah, pay attention to Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's still technically a rookie. Today was only his 6th NFL game.
Wow.
So from an experience standpoint, I'd say he's still a rookie, but
for sure. All right, now my second topic. Let's do this. What was your NFL player of the week? What was some crazy thing? What crazy thing that you see today?
Oh, it was easily the 97-yard or 90-yard touchdown that Sam Darnold threw to Justin Jefferson. That was nuts. Like, Sam Darnold threw it from the end zone. Justin Jefferson catches it 50 yards down the field and outruns 2 dudes. It's crazy.
Believe it or not, that was actually my play too. That was literally what I was gonna say. What I liked about that is at least Sam Darnold's out there. At least, I mean, you want to talk about the transition from the Jets, so it's like, shout out to Sam Darnold growing up in the league. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers having a good second week. I think he got his first win today. Yep. So those are our plays of the week. All right, Boogie, give me your topics.
All right, since we're already through 2 weeks of the season, you don't want to panic too much. But hey, Bill, are there any teams that you think need to hit the panic button?
The Ravens don't need to hit the panic button, but let's do a little soul searching. Why was it so slow at home? The Ravens are always just like that team who bring out a lot of energy to start with. I get that you played the Super Bowl champions last week, and it was a very close game. That game today was a little awkward, just like very, very awkward. So it's not even close to a panic, but it's just noticeable, like a 0-2 Ravens team. It's not what we're ready for. We're really not ready for a 0-3 Ravens team. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's ready for a 0-3 Ravens team. Panicking, absolutely panic. The Panthers need a panic only because it's the second year. You're looking at an 0-7. I'm not looking at the Broncos like they're gonna make the playoffs, but I am looking at a 7-10 team, maybe a 5-12. the Panthers, I'm really looking at a 1-16 this early. Like, that is a panic. Like, we shouldn't be the worst team in the NFL. Like, hands down, known, everybody knows and agrees the second week of the season. Let's go 0-5, and people are like, it looks nasty over there. You know, because Broncos could be 2-5. They could be 2-3. But a team like the Panthers, you go 0-5, it's like, ugh, like this is just ugly. Like, nobody's gonna show up to these games.
Yeah, I'm about to say people already don't. I saw a thing where it's like you can go to a Panthers game for like $20.
Dang. And another, this one's actually, I'm gonna go opposite on you. I know I'm answering this wrong, but a team I don't think should panic, but people might look and panic, is the Bengals. The Bengals came out against the Super Bowl champions and put up a performance like that, and some way, somehow, you know his name. I don't even have to say it. Comes back, makes a drive, and then they get the field goal to win the game. That's a team that I think will start very, very slow, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, the Bengals went from 1-3 to now they're a 6-14. You know, like they're gonna be that team, and then end up finishing very strong. So I got high hopes for the Bengals. So I know that's a little against your question, but looking at their 0-2 start, you're like, okay, okay. First 2 weeks. What about you?
Well, I'll start off by saying I agree with your take on the Bengals and the Ravens. It's you don't panic yet. If you lose next week, you start to panic because 0-3 is hard to come back from. But the
Agreed.
Bengals have almost never gotten off to a good start, so
Yeah.
no surprise there. And Ravens, I mean, they had a tough game last week, lost by a couple inches, and then kind of a letdown today. So, good teams have off weeks. So I think next week is a must win, but it's not time to panic yet. My team that needs to panic right now, it's the Los Angeles Rams. We came into this season, or a lot of people thought, okay, that's a playoff team. That's like a wild card team that can get in. But they lost big. They lost big to Arizona today. I think 41-10. And the concerning part really is the fact that Puka Nacua is on IR and Cooper Kupp went down with a lower body injury today.
Okay.
So now your 2-star weapons are gone. Your defense is playing like trash. You have a good quarterback, but without his offensive weapons, he can't make magic out of thin air. And this is a team that, like I said, should be a playoff team, but now you're 1-1, which is not necessarily to panic on. But what do the next couple weeks look like for you now that you're down your 2 targets?
Well,
Your
next
run
week looks
game is
like hosting the 49ers at home.
see, that's bad. So this could be a slippery slope where we see the season kind of start to get away from them, unless the rest of their offensive weapons step up and that defense improves significantly. So I would say it's the Rams because they had a chance to make especially after last week. You give Detroit a good run for their money, but now you're,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Now you're what?
but now you're in trouble.
What do you make of the Cowboys loss today? Silly. Cowboys being Cowboys.
Say again.
How do you feel about the Cowboys loss today at home?
Uh, the
Cowboys being
Cowboys was a
Cowboys.
the Cowboys was a really bad one. It raised red flags for sure. Not panic because not panic just because the offense still looked decent. Like the offense still looked decent. They just couldn't stop them on defense, and the defense it just seems like a scheme thing. They couldn't really get pressure, which gave Derek Carr all the time he needed to tear them apart. Um, so no, I don't think it's time to panic yet, but it looked bad though. Getting beat like that at home, it looked really bad. Are the Saints contenders? Who knows? They might be. They look
Hey,
dangerous 2 weeks in. They really do.
yeah, they do.
Um, but nah, I wouldn't. The Cowboys. It's just the Cowboys being the Cowboys. They're gonna drop a dumb game or two
Okay.
every season. So
Yeah. Shout out to Deshaun Watson. I'm not sure if he had a great game. From the highlights, they made it seem like it was really good. Like he drove down a couple of times and they capitalized off of it. Um, that was a reverse Uno. I was expecting them to be on the hot seat as far as like this is a red flag team. This is not gonna go well. He didn't do nothing too crazy, 22 of 34, 186, but at least they got the win. So if he managed the game correctly and they ended up winning with 18 to 13, I'll take that compared to if they would have lost 33 to 20 again this week. So against Trevor Lawrence, who's trying to get it back together, he went 14 of 30, 220 yards. That looks really, really rough. Um, yeah. So shout out to them for their little comeback because I was ready to put them on the hot seat after 2 weeks.
That's the thing with Deshaun. I don't think we're gonna see the same Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston. I just don't think he exists anymore. But I think his upside is kind of similar to Russell Wilson last season. A game manager who might get to 20 touchdowns, 25 touchdowns, a couple picks. I think that's kind of his upside right now.
For sure. Alrighty, L Boogie. So right before we close out this show, we got 2 games. These are not sports betting advice. We might bring that into the show later, but not this week. We got the Bears and the Texans. We got 0-3. The Texans are up. We got 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Who you got winning tonight's game?
The Texans. I think the Texans are the better team overall. I think the Bears are a little banged up right now too. I mean, Keenan Allen isn't playing, Rome Odunze isn't playing, so Caleb Williams is going to be very dependent on DJ Moore. They didn't run the ball good last week. I don't see them running the ball well this week, so I see the Texans taking it.
Alrighty, tomorrow we got the Falcons. I got the Texans tonight too. Tomorrow we got the Falcons versus Eagles. Who you got? Falcons at Eagles, by the way.
Falcons at Eagles. I know AJ Brown is not playing, which helps the Falcons a little bit. I see a nitty gritty game. I see a kind of tough, low scoring game, like a 15-12 kind of game, but I do see the Eagles taking it. What do
Yeah,
you
I
think,
definitely don't
Abel?
see another 34-30 game. I definitely see like a 16-13, something like that. Yeah, I see that one out of that. Alrighty. That about wraps up another episode of L Boogie and the Bell. L Boogie, take us out.
Once again, thank you guys for tuning in to El Boogie and the Bell. Week 2 of the NFL coverage wrapped up for us today. Make sure you check out our full video on YouTube. Make sure you comment, like the TikToks. Let us know where we're wrong. Let us know where we're right. Let us know what y'all want to see. If there's anything y'all want to see us do differently or add to the show, let us know. We're always open to feedback. But yeah, we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will catch y'all here next week.
Peace.